Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, y'all. Greetings and salutations. Hopefully, you are actually still watching the town hall. I'm actually listening to it in my ear, but it's kind of disorienting to listen to both. I'm used to hearing myself, not used to hearing somebody else. But big shout out HBCU Digital Network. This is home. Also, shout out to Herb Seward and the Black Techies. So today, if it looks weird and you didn't play football, the word is Oskie. So the corners routinely scream pass, ball, and then Oskie as they intercept the ball. But hopefully, you are again catching the last bit of that AD thing there. What are they talking about right now? They're telling you about the National Alumni Association. Mr. William Yeomans is speaking right now. Good guy, Phi Beta Sigma. But the reason I went ahead and go on is because I promised 8 o'clock. So, but what we're going to talk about, we're going to go over a little bit of the part I came in on. Not going to lie, I was late to the town hall meeting, not because I didn't care, but because I was busy. So it's summer, making sure stuff is taken care of. So I had to take care of some business during the meeting. But when I got in, some good things to hear. They are right now encouraging you to support FAMU boosters as well as the FAMU National Alumni Association, which I've been a member of both. I'm currently only a member of the National Alumni Association, so not a booster. I'll think about it. But first thing we'll kind of go over, if you kind of missed it, and supposedly they're recording this, they are big things that my big takeaways from the part I came in about the 7:30 mark was NIL. One of the things that AD Sykes talked about was kind of how NIL could be done, how it works, and how it can function, and how that works. AD Sykes class act. I like her a lot. No funny business. Yeah, I know I like to joke, but I really do. I like her as when I've met her. She's been a real nice person, personable every time. So no complaints for me as far as RAD. But again, big highlights that I caught, I did miss some of it, was the shared boosters, the NIL. She shared that the boosters can get in contact with students for NIL. Now she's like, I can't conduct that for you. She can't be the middleman. She can't hook you up. You know, it's kind of like when you was growing up and you was a kid and, hey, can you hook me up? Not really. She stated that she can create places and spaces in which you can freely talk to the athletes, but she made it known under no terms would she be able to sit up there and be like, hey, I can put you in contact with K-Dot, Jamaria Sharid, however, and make that happen for you. She did not say that. She stated that, hey, I can't do that for you. And I appreciate that. That's a level of honesty I enjoy and I like. Again, I told y'all I got no problems with AD Sykes. Some of y'all kind of nitpicky to me, and y'all gotta forgive me. I throwing some popcorn in there before it happened. Some of y'all nitpicky and unrealistic in your expectations, and I'll say that. I wouldn't mind saying it to you across the table. You know, we were talking. Hey, some of y'all don't have realistic expectations of our athletic director, but what I do like, I like her aggression. That was, my biggest takeaway from NIL. Other thing that I enjoyed, and I'll tell y'all quick, I'll ask questions. One of the things, shout out HBCU Nightly, Josh. I posted a question. I asked a question like, what's going on with this SWAC and MEAC leadership? Because I'm noticing a lot of other conferences, the commissioner has some type of expertise or experience when it comes to working in media, as far as some of them come from production companies and they use that experience and expertise to leverage contracts for their conference. And I got schooled, and it wasn't like oh man, anything harsh, but I learned something, and that's part of what I'm here for. And that peak sports deal, look, that was a huge takeaway for me. AD Sykes said we got about 300,000 from that, so I was like, that's not a lot. And she even stated, she was like, I expect FAMU to get more than that. And she stated that she pretty much told them, well, she didn't pretty much, she told them she expects to get more than that from them, because out of that deal, we get half. So you're talking about you got a deal where FAMU's getting $150,000 for a marketing deal? Like, and she's like, this is a $1 million brand. We should at least be getting 5. So I'm gonna say it like this, especially if you are young and you kind of get that kind of stuff, man, this is your opportunity to build your brand. All right. If you can build some type of brand that can specialize in this, that can charge less than them and deliver more, you got a good chance to undercut that company. I'm just gonna put it out there like that. The other thing I definitely loved was I loved how AD Sykes talk about the potential of adding sports. And she's always been honest about this. And she's like, hey, I'm gonna be responsible with your money. Y'all are trusting me with your money. And we know how black people are about money. I mean, I understand everybody goes to FAMU is not black. I get that. There's some folks from Southwest Asia. There's some people from the Caucasus Mountains, but the majority of y'all is people of color. I almost said something else. I know black people got bad habits. I'm better. I don't use it a lot, but some of y'all just straight up, like y'all just straight up, and it's like, where my money went? How much you spent? $20. Like, wait, what's she gonna do with $20? She can't put gas in the bus for that. I want to see it. And she was like, I'll be responsible with your money. And one of the things that came up was adding sports. Women's golf is the top of the list. I like that. I like that a lot. I like it partially because it makes business sense. Like, one of the things that we kind of have to realize as fans, especially as men, like I need the fellas to come in on this. We can't expect FAMU athletics to add a whole bunch of men's sports when you have football. That don't sound right, right? But you got to think, with Title IX, you got to do scholarships a certain kind of way, and you have to, you got to have a little balance there. Football takes up so many of your male scholarships that you need more female sports to compensate. So the sport that she was listed as number one on her list is women's golf, which I think FAMU is a great golf coach. I will say this is my personal opinion. I haven't been able to talk to coach about it, but I do feel like if we were to sit down and have a conversation, part of him coming back was, one, I think Coach Rice probably got offered a solid deal, but he probably got offered a chance to get that women's golf going. And if he can't get it going, he's got an assistant, a lady assistant that's waiting in the wings. I'm just saying, I think FAMU is 2 years away from adding women's golf. It's a sport that when you look at it, it's not that expensive. Like the greens fees and stuff like that, yeah, they can add up. But when you start looking at actually like equipment outside of clubs, it's not terrible. Like golf balls can get costly depending on what you get. I ain't gonna lie, I just tore up my driver. I gotta get a new driver. It's like $100. But golf balls, man, I get a bucket of balls. I can go play against sports for like $40, and I got enough golf balls to last a while. So, not saying that's what we're doing, but we probably ain't far from that. But she pointed at women's golf. It's probably the top of that list. And then other sports she's pointed was sports that the SWAC offers championships in. And that's something I appreciate because somebody kind of slid that Tennessee State thing in there. And I already told y'all that ish ain't happening. Like, miss me with FAMU and hockey. It's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen because it shouldn't happen. It's not going to happen because the investment. Like, stop trying to have us do what other people do just because they did it. And Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for Tennessee State, but we're doing all this for a club sport, not an NCAA sport, a club sport. I was like, oh man, Tennessee State in hockey, like they about to have a Division I hockey team, club sport. Okay, that's cute. That ain't efficient. I don't like that. I like that they're adding the sport. I like that they're doing it as an option. But to sit up here and have the athletic director and all these people stand behind it, when most times club sports don't get no athletic money, that's FAMU wrestling how that's going. Like it's not. It's just not. Like if we're gonna be honest about it, like let's not get lost in the celebration. Because I'm telling you now, I'm cheering for them. Oh look, when it comes to the ice, look. I'm my mentee graduating from TSU. I will be up there wearing the big blue all day long. But when it comes to like the reality, I'm be like, that's in addition to the students. That's more student fees because they pulling away from your student fees more than they are pulling from your athletic budget. I'm just saying. But it's sports that the SWAC already offers. So, for instance, soccer. Yeah, I know I've been team soccer for forever. Tallahassee has professional soccer. Like we got to a point where we have a professional soccer team that plays in Tallahassee. You have another women's soccer team already in Tallahassee. Just saying, with what AD Sykes has pitched, if you offer women's soccer, women's golf, all of a sudden that opens the door to add a men's sport like tennis, RIP Kofi, or better yet for me, soccer. Like, you already know, I already told y'all how I am about this. I'm not into competing with Florida State for everything. They don't have men's soccer over there. Why in the hell are you going to sit up here and pass that up? That's a layup. Because if you get men's tennis, Florida State's got men's tennis. Okay. It's back to what it was. You had swimming, they got men's swimming. Back to what it was. Like at a certain point, part of the cool thing about Tennessee State adding hockey is that nobody else doing it. Like they're not the only school in the city doing it in Nashville, but the only HBCU doing it, which is really cool. Part of what makes fist gymnastics so appealing, they're the only HBCU that was doing it. I think Talladega's jumped on it too. All of a sudden, they started to realize we can get the best black and brown athletes to come here and play athletics. I'm saying the same thing for soccer. And you get more than that. You get the best athletes because you're not competing against Florida State. You compete against UCF, maybe USF. I think they got men's soccer. FAU, FIU. There's no real major school, Division I school in the northern part of the state that has men's soccer. I don't think UF even has men's soccer. I'll look it up right fast. But yeah, I don't. Let me see. Nah, buddy, that's a club sport. So you telling me within the big three, none of them have soccer? Let's look at Miami. I know they're $50,000. Yeah, I was about to say that $50,000 they paying. There's a soccer ball somewhere, and it looks like women's soccer. Don't look like men's soccer. Nope, they don't have men's soccer. So none of the big three in the state of Florida have men's soccer. Just saying, like that wasn't where I was going with it, but you got to at some point exploit the obvious. Stop competing with the rapper hoes, as my dad liked to call them. And I'm a diehard Seminole fan. Like, I'll argue with you about old school Florida State all day. Modern Florida State, I ain't argue with you too slick. Norvell, though, he all right. Like, I left y'all being mad at Willie getting fired a long time ago. I saw that. But at the same point, she's pointing out, hey, if I add sports, it's going to be sports to SWAC sponsors. So it's probably not going to be swimming. And to be honest, We don't pool anymore. Pool is filled in. So unless you've been up there, hadn't been on campus in a while, it's a parking lot. So now we would have to build a new pool or go back to sharing a pool with Florida State again. I'm not interested in that. Now the other one was the Rattler Strike Tour. I ain't gonna say no names because some of y'all rode my AD real slick by her not being places. And then the next week she was getting a check in Gainesville. I was like, okay, I see what you did there. They're about to be doing it again. I ain't gonna lie. I saw that fee to get in the door. I applied for some press credentials, but $1,000 a spot. I don't know about that, bro. You ain't gonna get that out of me. Not for the day. Not as long as I gotta look at that lady over there. Not right now. We ain't there. Now the other thing, when they did finish, they did push the FAMU boosters and the FAMU Alumni Association, which again, as I told you, I've been a member of both. I'm currently a member of one. I'm a member of the National Alumni Association. I've not been a booster member since I left Tallahassee. And I'm not going to lie to you. Y'all got a few years for me. Y'all got to show me something. I ain't going to lie. Probably buy some season tickets first, but yeah, me getting on back on that booster list, not going to happen, bro. But for what we really came to talk about, FAMU's got one of the best secondaries in the SWAC. The Dark Cloud defense definitely begins with the defensive line, but it ends with the secondary. FAMU secondary is aggressive, and I was messaging Gerald from the Democrat earlier today, and I said, "Hey, bro, you can use this one. It's called Bowler Island." And I'm just saying, if you want somebody to shimmy and throw a yo and let that diamond shine and do all the crimson and creamy things you want, throw that ball at Kendall Bowler. I promise you, he'll be over there shimmying. Just saying. Kendall Bowler, and I call it Bowler and Smith Island, but I'm telling you right now, that Kendall Bowler, yeah, he's a junior. 6'3", 193. He's number 3. One of my favorite numbers. 17 tackles, 2 picks. And he won SWAC Player of the Week because he was part of the biggest reason we didn't lose to Alabama State. Sorry, Herb. I did find the shirt, though. I watched it. I told you, bro. So, but yeah, Kendall Bowler, by the end of the season last year, was one of your starting boundary corners. And he wasn't getting tried a lot. Like, he was not like, oh, we're just throwing him out there because he's tall. No, he's actually pretty good. Like, he pretty much overtakes BJ as far as like not playing ability, but prominence within the secondary. And a lot of that was due to BJ being hurt. Like, I mean, I remember we were talking earlier today. I told y'all I was messing with mans, and I was like, knowing what I know, I would have attacked BJ because he was hurt. Like, full health BJ? Nah. That dude was a monster. Yeah, BJ Bowl was a monster. But Kendall, he's taller. Similar speed. I think BJ might be faster. I just don't ask me why. I just got that feeling. It might be just because of the confidence, because they have different personalities. Like Kendall was definitely the more like jovial one. BJ was always cool, but Kendall was a guy that you could get Kendall to smile a little easier than BJ. BJ kind of looked, oh, okay, I see you. All right, you cool. But yeah, I'm just telling y'all right now, when you see number 3, I wouldn't throw over there a lot. Not if he's healthy. I think that first game of the season, I think he's gonna get challenged. I really do. I don't know how well the challenge is gonna go, but he's gonna get challenged. Now, my other corner, Eric Smith Jr., 5'10", 177, number 8. He had 24 tackles last year. And yeah, them right now, those are 2 of my top corners. FAMU secondary goes real deep, though. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. And the biggest issue I have with FAMU secondary and offensive line, I don't know who the heck a corner is and who the heck a safety is. Like, I literally got this whole third screen over here where it's like me looking up these people before they came to FAMU, and like what's their position on like their huddle or their high school or college. Like some of them was like, okay, like Kamani King. To me, I think he could play corner or safety. He's the Iowa State transfer. He didn't get a lot of run last year, 5'10", 175. I'm just saying though, like I'm gonna say it like this: for FAMU's defense in general, and all the team, everybody can't travel. I don't know where some of these kids gonna go, but everybody can't make the field. You can't carry but like 60 some odd players at CS. I think it's like 60 something. You can't carry a full like 85. Like, nah. So some of these gotta stay home and go to study hall. But Kamani King, and I think he might be able to play safety. Like, just look at how he hits. Yeah. Another one though. This is my special teams all-star. I ain't gonna lie. If he ain't playing special teams day one, I ain't gonna say I'm gonna walk out the press box, but I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna be a little miffed. I'm gonna have a question like, Coach, why? Tevin Griffey. Tevin Griffey is 5'11", 175. He's number 7. I ain't gonna lie. There's a big baseball part of me wants him to slide to 24. I get it, but that's just me. I grew up baseball fan. Ken Griffey Jr. was my favorite baseball player. But 8 tackles, and taxes. That joker put some hits, man. Yeah. Tevin was a special teams phenom. Like, and you look at him like he's not like a hulking presence. He's built though. Like, Buddy is solid. Like he's muscular. Like no weird stuff. But respectfully, the brother could model. Like if he was like a little bit taller, yeah, no weird stuff. No pause needed. But yeah, like that dude was one of the gunners that was raising Kane last year. Like he was one of those guys that you consistently were looking at when the ball got punted or kicked off. You were like, "Where's Griffey?" Like first question, especially by the end of the season, it was like, "Where's Griffey?" Because he seemed to get it. Like he gets special teams, and that's a gift. Like I remember when I played football, special teams was really the easiest thing for me to get. Like receiver, yeah, it got kind of confusing sometimes. I was, I don't know. But special teams is actually the most fun because I just had to run. Like, oh, just run and go get it. Cool. And like, yeah. And that's a guy I think you need to look for. Another one, like he's a young cat. Zaire Riley's he's young. He's new, 5'6". I don't think he'll need a lot of time. I think he's on redshirt this year, if I'm being honest. Xavier Battle's another one, 5'8", 180. Like these are guys I got strictly as corners. Robert Glanton, I ain't gonna lie. I got some hope for him. 5'11", 195. Amari Lido, this is my sleeper. By season's end, and I'm telling y'all, Willie ain't loyal. Like, okay, I ain't gonna say he ain't loyal. Willie ain't faithful. he faithful at home, but when it comes to like your position on the field is not guaranteed. That is definitely Willie Simmons. To me, I have seen it over the course of the couple years. And unless you're a quarterback and your name is Ryan Stanley, your job is not safe. And I think the only reason Ryan Stanley's job was safe because who was behind him? And it was like, I got a dude. He's not really a quarterback, but I'm going to make him one. And he was right. I mean, say what you want to. Willie was right on that one. Like, he actually groomed a really good quarterback. Like, say what you want to. But he wasn't ready. And he definitely tried. Like, go back and look at some of the Ryan Stanley days. Go to games where Stanley struggled. He threw your boy out there. He threw Rashawn McKay out there. Dreadlock Rashawn McKay, too. Not the, like, low cut, waves. No. Dreadlock Rasta. Long hair. Don't care, McKay. He threw him out there. And, like, I'm just saying, Amari Lee, 6 foot, 200 pound transfer UCF. Look, one thing about FAMU's offense, they don't care how tall you are at receiver. Defense is a whole nother story. Now, we like big corners. Like big corners, tall safeties, you above 6 foot. There's only one athlete on FAMU's entire roster that's listed as a safety. He's 6'2". Sheldon Walker. That's it. Everybody else is the DB. Sheldon, safety. Like, and Sheldon, I ain't gonna lie. Sheldon like got a little mean streak in him. I mean, he a kid was small, but still, look, Sheldon on the field, I don't be wanting no smoke with him. Another one though, Ben Owusu, 5'11", 186. Look out for him. I ain't gonna lie, I think Lamar Clark, if he's not a freshman, he's redshirting. But these are my guys. These are guys that got his corners. And for FAMU's secondary, the ones that I list strictly as corners, the big thing you'll notice is height. If you're below 6 feet, except for Kendall Bowler. And that's just because he's him. Sorry. It's not a bias. I'm non-Greek. I'm not affiliated with any Greek fraternities at all. So you can't be like, oh, he favors the campus. No, he's him. He was him last year. He could be him again. He's a junior. And depending on what kind of counsel he gets, he might leave early. Depending on what kind of season he has. If he had a season, yeah. Only reason I would say he really should come back is because of the way we've seen our HBCU players get drafted. Otherwise, yeah, nah, bro. You could take that on down the road somewhere. And I ain't trying to push him off campus. I'm just keeping it a bean. Now, these are my guys. They're definitely safeties. They're definitely safeties. Like when I look, you're a safety. Either it's your 40 times, something about you, you're a safety. Lovey Jenkins, 6'1", 195. He is number one. Hey, how you feel about it? You sit down and write it. He's number one. He's a Louisville transfer, 21 tackles last year. Yeah. Other one is Javon Morgan, 5'11", 185. He's number two. He was all SWAC. Yeah. Next one. Now I'm biased here. I ain't gonna lie. Lincoln High School. They just celebrated our 20th reunion last week. Turned up too. Yeah. Jalen Glaze, one of the boys from 38 Trojan Trail, 5'10", 190. Number 10, he's a Minnesota transfer, and he's gonna compete. I'm just be honest with y'all. Go look at some of this film real quick. I got caught up, with the AD stuff. Y'all know I love me some AD Sykes, but I was going back like, yeah, he can cover, and that might be somebody you might want to look out for. I'm just saying, I don't know if he slides down the corner, and it depends, because a lot of times SWAC receivers, the problem in the SWAC is never the skill positions. It's always the line of scrimmage. We always get beat on line, but as far as SWAC skill positions, receivers, yeah, SWAC normally has really good receivers. Like you routinely see receivers from the SWAC make NFL teams. That's not like special. That's normal. It's special when a lineman goes. But when like a corner or running back or somebody from the receiving position goes, that's expected. You might gonna get a lot, but that's just because of the volume of college football. Like how many more college football teams do you have compared to 30 years ago? Like 30, 40 years ago, UCF wasn't playing football. Now they're going to the Big 12. While FAMU is still Digo Wilson, 6'1", 205, Jacksonville State transfer. I don't know about that one. Because he didn't have a lot of stats at Jacksonville State. So I want to see what happens with him. Winston Frazier, though. That's a dude, 6'3", 185. I ain't gonna lie. If his 40 is down, don't be surprised he slides the corner a little bit. Y'all saw last year what it was when you started having BJ Bowler and Courtney Cox out there. Man, that was a fun duo. Kendall Bowler. Sorry, I said BJ. It was BJ, Kendall, and Courtney. And you would slip in some other corners in there too. It was fun. FAMU's secondary is really deep. Like you got Cumberbatch, that's Alabama A&M transfer. I don't know. And then you got a lot of other guys that Chandler Lilly, Rodney Williams, Andre Powell Jr., Chase Lilly, and of course Sheldon Walker. He's a safety, 6'2", 190, number 47. Uh, I'm just saying. I'll be honest with y'all. When it comes to FAMU secondary, I see a lot of red shirts. If you hadn't red shirted yet, you will. And if you ain't took your COVID year, you will. There's going to be a lot of competition in that secondary. And some of these guys will likely hit the transfer portal. I'm just saying, if you're all Albany State fan, you might be looking real FAMU-ish up there, because I don't know how we're gonna carry all these guys. Like, I mean, FAMU's roster easily, just on paper, you approach 100 guys. Like, I don't know how you do that with scholarships. I didn't want to ask. I didn't. I'm not gonna say I didn't want to. I didn't think to answer it. Let me say that. But FAMU secondary is going to be strong, and I think the biggest players that you're going to look at is definitely be Kendall Bowler. And I'm just saying, it could be Bowler Island over there. It's not going to be unless I knocked on wood. It's particle board, but you get it. If everything goes well for Kendall, he won't see 20 tackles. He just won't. Like, unless some big things go wrong as far as like in front of him, or he's just that dude in run support, Kendall Bowler won't see 20 tackles. Now, one of the things I do hope we add, just as a fan, can we get those pass deflections on there for the stats? And look, I volunteer to help do it. Look, you already know where I'm at. I get paid for it. I volunteer to help on that one. But can we get these pass deflections on here? I think that would look really cool, and that would help our students, when they're trying to sell the product and who they are, But I'm just saying, as a fan, I don't see Kendall Bowler getting a lot of balls thrown to him. I think Smith's going to start the season. I think King is going to get in there too. I think Griffey's going to be kind of that nickel slot corner, like that nickel, that third, fourth corner. But I'm just telling y'all, when I see Amari Lee 6 feet, and I can look on the other side and I can see Kendall Bowler 6'3", that's hard. It's like as a coach and as a person that's just thinking of scheme, having 2 6-foot corners on either boundary, and then I can stick a 5'11" guy who can move in the nickel. That's a problem. That's a lot of speed. That's a lot of speed. It's a lot of experience. You got corner coming with the UCF experience. And no, UCF's not the end all be all. Like, you already know how I feel about UCF. But what it is, that's a tall corner. And all receivers ain't 6 feet. So you start talking about putting a 5'10", 5'11" on him. He's 6 feet. You're already out-talled, out-heighted. You're shorter than him. So when you're throwing that comeback route and he stops on a dime, all of a sudden your hands go up to catch the ball and that thing comes slapping you like that. You're like, where this man came from? And you're like, oh, yeah, he's 6'1". He's 6'3". He's a rangy corner is the terminology they use. That's going to be interesting because in coverage, FAMU runs a base zone defense, y'all. If you've watched the podcast before, you know that. I know this. We know this. And I told y'all, I asked Coach about that. And it was in a point of frustration too. It wasn't even like it was as cool as I could be in the moment. But in full transparency, on the flip side of that, if I know FAMU runs a base zone defense, and I got tall corners, all of a sudden, when I start looking at his wingspan, I got a wall right here. So that's why it's not like me that's why I'm moving. I started realizing he can stay in that zone. He can cover a bit more yardage because he's taller. because they have longer wingspan. Like some of that comes into that's part of the game of football. It's the chess game. Part of the chess game is understanding how your physique and your abilities affect the play of the game. A 6'3" corner in a zone is covering more space than most 5'10" or 5'11" corners. All of a sudden, now in your zone defense, that's why you start to look and say, maybe I'll put this 6 foot over that 5'10". Because if we ran a true man-to-man, if we ran man-to-man, I probably would want the shorter corner. Most times, shorter athletes are able to cut quicker. Like it's just the nature of the game. You got longer legs, you got a longer stride. Your breakdown takes a little longer. It's milliseconds, but it takes longer. Whereas in a zone, and you're staring at the quarterback, and you're really dependent on the defensive line to create penetration, all of a sudden you start to put yourself in a position where those taller athletes are competing, and they're competing in space. And I think that's just something that you got to consider. But then you start looking at, man, if I throw a Telvin Griffey at nickel corner, similar to what you did with BJ a few years ago, imagine that kind of speed. Like you're talking, I believe Telvin's a legit 4.4 guy. I'm pretty sure he's fast. Imagine that coming off the corner. Furthermore, let's exaggerate that. You have that coming off your blind side. It don't take but one time for that dude to hit you with bad intentions, for you to start getting the yips. And if you don't play golf, the yips is when you just can't hit nothing. That's how I broke my club. I busted my driver good. But at the same point, once that corner gets that pressure on that quarterback, now you can start doing more exotic blitzes, and you can start adjusting the coverage, and you can start switching up your coverage to where now the quarterback's not only reading the defense, but he's anticipating getting hit even when he's not, because you hit him from his blind side. I mean, it's like somebody sucker punching you. Like, okay, no, you don't respect somebody sucker punching you, but if I know you're gonna sucker punch me, so when I see you, my hands are cocked. I'm ready to fight. Like that's just this nature. It's natural. Like I have a son. He loves to play fight. He loves to play wrestle. I have to like literally not, because for me, I didn't grow up play wrestling. I didn't grow up play fighting. I grew up fighting. Either you fighting or you're not. And if we're not fighting, great. But if we fighting, we fighting. And so I had to learn how to play fight, because otherwise my guard was up. That's what's going to happen in your defense if your corners are all of a sudden Kendall Bowler, Lovey Jenkins, and then you're sending people like, or heck, Amari Lee. Sorry. And then you're sending Tevin Griffey off the corner. Isaiah Riley. Like, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, he's 5'6", 160. He's a small dude. You know what happens to small people? You get lost. That's one of the reasons you put a leash on a child, because in a large crowd, they get lost among bigger individuals. 5'6" is somebody that can slide, and all of a sudden, he blitzes behind a linebacker, and he comes unblocked. And it's just one of those things, though. As you see the season progress, one of the things that I'm looking for out of FAMU schematically is aggression and pressure. And it's pressure from multiple fronts and multiple areas. One of the things that I really lamented about that Jackson State game was how bland we were. Like, that was part of my frustration. It was like, yo, we're getting killed. Why are you still running this? Well, it's my base. I'm gonna fly. I don't care what your base defense is. If it's not working, like, you are gonna have to adjust, because he's killing it. I don't give a rat's tail if it's not working. That's like we playing a spades table, and all of a sudden you sitting across from me, and every time I lead off, you cut my spade. I mean, you cut my ace. Okay. First game, oh hey, we're new. We haven't played with each other. It's okay. But after you done reneged, look, man, I don't want to play with this person no more. And it's not because I don't like you, it's because you don't know how to play. It's because you're not doing this right. Like whatever we's doing, it ain't working. And I said it like I meant it. Like, and I think that's one of the things I'm going to look for from this defense this year, especially from the secondary, knowing that we do have defensive ends that are going to get double teamed. Like Kamari Stevens, I hate to tell you this, you're going to get double teamed. Go back and watch the OBC game from last year and look what happened to Isaiah Land. That's going to be you. At least the first 3 games, you getting all the double team. Like it was literally like watching that game. Like Isaiah ain't gonna do a dang gum thing all game, and it's not his fault. Like he's getting double teamed, he's getting chipped, and he even admitted he wasn't used to it. Come on, you get used to it. If there's a drill you can run to get used to getting chipped, you're gonna get chipped all season long. But all of a sudden, if they're chipping him, they're double teaming him, and how many people you got on the line, it starts to become math. All of a sudden, I got 5 on 4. Okay. But 2 of their 5 are double teaming 1 of my 4. So we're essentially back to running 4 on 4. So I can blitz somebody. I can send somebody. Like it's numbers. It's the numbers, it's the math of the game. And that's one of the things I'm looking for from the secondary. Can we create big plays? Like, and can we create sudden change or havoc plays, especially from the secondary? The secondary, considering how pass heavy the Southwestern Athletic Conference is, I'm looking for your interceptions. I think that was one of the things that really shocked the SWAC about last year's team or the year before when we had Marquise Bell and BJ Bowler on that defense. You had a nickel corner who could go over there and play boundary and could kind of shut you down. And he was fast. Like he had nice recovery speed. He just dropped the 4.3 last week before. Then you had Isaiah Land back there, who's rangy. Like not Isaiah Land, sorry, Marquise Bell. And then you had Isaiah Land on the edge. So at every level of the defense, essentially, you could do some things. I think that's the film I'd go back to watch if I'm competing against FAMU, if I'm being honest. It's not the 2022, it's the 2021 film that I watch, because that's a situation and a circumstance where FAMU defensively, and this is me speaking defensively, FAMU had a quote unquote star player at every level of the defense. Like you had a star defensive lineman that nobody knew of really until the end of the season. Linebacker was solid, but I would say your safety, that was Marquise Bell, was that linebacker. He was that star guy. And then you had BJ, who was the other star guy. Like in this year, you got Kamani King, you got Isaiah Major, you got Kendall. And look, I just sat up here and I skipped over General Hunt on the interior. I skipped over them other dudes. Man, you got multiple 300-pound defensive linemen. I just skipped over our safeties. And look, you don't want to do that. I'm just telling you. I didn't talk about Lovey Jenkins. Yeah, he's gonna be like that. I didn't talk about Javon Morgan. I didn't mention Jalen Glaze is coming and he's competing. Like, I'm just saying, this is the best FAMU defense that we have seen in a very long time. I almost speculate to say like the Earl Holmes era, like when he was like Earl Hitman Holmes, that defense is good. Like we focus on Earl, but you had some other guys that were really solid there. This is the best defense Willie Simmons has ever had. Honestly, it's the best team he's ever had. Like I would put this team directly against that 21 team. And I think this team wins. I don't think it's a blowout, but I think this team wins. Only reason I say this team would win, I think the defensive line is better. And I don't think it's better on the edges. I think that the edges, that Xavier, yeah. Like That Xavier, sorry, that Isaiah Land. It was the outsides that tricked me. Yeah. He wants to be Ken at Ward. But I think this year, the fact that King's a little bigger, and then you got a more experienced General Hunt, and then you got those other guys in the interior, and then your linebackers. Like your linebackers are a huge upgrade. Then your corners, like that year's corners was solid. Remember, you had BJ on one side, you had that corner from UCF on another. Like UCF been good to FAMU. Like that was a solid team. I think that year's safety, just because it was Marquise Bell. But then you start looking, I ain't gonna lie. I would have taken, I might have taken that team because you had Xavier and McKay, which was actually like a special connection. Like they were really good. But just going back and looking at it, that 21 team compared to this year's team, it's close. I think this team's slightly better though. So, man, look out for the secondary. I think FAMU secondary is going to be the best secondary in the Southwest Athletic Conference. I think Jackson State's close. I have to go back and look at them again though, and I will. Oh yeah, it's time. So, man, come check us out Sunday though, man. Sunday we're gonna start looking. I just talked about Jackson State. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. FAMU by 20. I've been saying it. I can't not. Like I'm one of them. Like I just can't not. It's like my coffee in the morning. Like my coffee in the morning, I like hazelnut creamer. I stopped going to Dunkin' because they stopped serving it. Like only way I go to Starbucks is when I have the kids, and it's because they like it. Otherwise, and I ain't walking to a coffee place and not getting coffee. I'm like that. But yeah, I like my hazelnut cream in my coffee. I just gotta have things a certain kind of way. And this year, one of the things I gotta have that way, FAMU by 20 at the Orange Blossom Classic. And part of that is, yeah, that's a little trash talk. And that's about as far as I go on trash talk. I ain't gonna get too petty. Except for, you start telling me Cookman gonna beat us in football this year. That might be FAMU by 40. I ain't trying to be funny either. That game, we'll get to it. But we're gonna look at the Orange Blossom Classic and kind of look at why do I think it's FAMU by 20? Like it's not just because I think we're due. It's not because I have a disdain for Jackson State. I really don't. I've been telling y'all for a long time. Jackson State is not my rivals. You'll probably never be my rivals. I treat y'all like the 100 treats the Sonic Boom in the South. They pay you no attention. You can blow at them. You can do everything you want at them, but the 100 is going to ignore you. They definitely did that the last 2 years. Now, last year, the Sun took us out, but yeah, go back and look the year before. Jackson State is like literally challenging the 100, and the 100 is sitting there like a big lion on top of a perch. Like, who are you talking to? Play a song. Okay, y'all done? All right, we're not gonna respond. Like, dang, yeah, it was. They kind of. It ain't like Southern. I ain't gonna lie to you. It ain't the same. But I'm gonna explain why I think FAMU by 20. We're gonna look at the offense. We're gonna look at the defense. I can't tell you nothing about special teams because I don't have a clue. We got so many long snappers, it ain't funny. I don't know if we got a problem there or what, but long snappers are a revolving door at Florida A&M University right now. And after that, we're gonna go through each week of the season, kind of see who to look for, and especially with the home games, we're gonna look at some of the things to kind of look out for and the away games. Again, I've already told y'all, and I don't want you to say nobody told you if you listen to Fangs Up. You going to that, I almost said University of Texas. You going to that Texas Southern FAMU game? Man, I hope you got a hotel because, man, that's got an opportunity to get ugly early. And them flights, yeah. Like, I mean, granted, Houston to Austin ain't a bad drive, but I'm just saying, you got the University of Texas going against the University of Houston in Houston, Texas, same week that FAMU goes against Texas Southern. I'm just saying. I don't know if College Game Day going to be there, but I'll say it like this. Travel-wise, I bowed out on that one. I'm going next year. Honestly, I got a cousin, he's having a baby, and baby's due in November. I already know. I'm like, ooh, that's October. Nah. Nah, that's cold flu season. I'm not going up there cold flu season, and you got a new baby on the way. Not gonna do that. But for those that are going, that's gonna be a traveling nightmare. We did forget to shout out our big time people, man. So, but let's not forget Results Only Fitness Founders 40 pre-sale membership special. Sign up before July 10th. If you're waiting, man, what you waiting for? Up there, he is in the Georgia area, outside of the Atlanta metropolitan area there. So go check him out, FAMU graduate. So go check him out. You see the number up there, 470-580-1562. Also, got a couple events coming up, man. So Dade, South Dade FAMU Alumni Association is having an event where you can meet their officers Monday, July the 3rd, 4:30 to 8 p.m. I ain't gonna lie, they ain't pay me for that. That's we'll talk about that in the show. Other one, touchdown in Tampa Bay, AC Hotel, Tampa Airport. Give you $145 a night. Y'all better get the rooms before they go. Before they gone. So, also, last but certainly not least, Cable Busters TV. Who you gonna call? Go check them out, 813-360-1902. So before we head out, though, if you didn't get the news, your brother is running the Florida Alumni Association regional Twitter page. So that is partially where, especially the alumni-centered events came from. No sponsorship, just me shamelessly plugging something that I'm already working on my platform. So if you are in that Tampa area, they also have a special for you. If you would like to buy tickets, go check out that deal there. Some of the proceeds do go out to the Alumni Association down there in Tampa and those good people. And just really trying to grow this thing, man, from a FAMU alumni standpoint and others. But all right, y'all. I don't know when we run this long. So, but we're going to come back Sunday night, 8:30, Orange Blossom Classic. If you are a Jackson State fan, they have been calling it the Blue Blossom Classic. And I'll be honest, you can't get mad at them because we ain't beat them. So if you want to shut them up, slap them in the mouth and beat them. Otherwise, they just keep talking that trash because it's been about a decade. So we're going to go over there. We're going to look, kind of see like, man, what's been going on? Like, they got a little run going, and their run starts, honestly, since the inception of the Willie Simmons era. I think before that. So it's been a good little while since FAMU's defeated Jackson State in football. I think it's going to change, and I look forward to it changing. But as we head out, again, big shout out, Herb Seward, Black Techies. Go check them out, man. You got the YouTube channel, HBCU Digital Network. And as always, thank you, HBCU Digital Network. This is home. This is home. And it's always going to be Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Dorsey,